Tutorial 1. Basic Game Creation Principles. In this lesson, we'll provide a basic summary of game creation principles, including rooms, sprites, capabilities, and controllers. By the end of the tutorial, we should have a game with a swimming fish in the middle of the screen. First, let's open the Mo Mini Studio. Now we'll choose a folder for our project. Click the Browse button and choose a folder or create one. We will create a new folder named MoFish1. Click OK. If the folder does not contain an existing project, a dialog box will pop up, asking us whether we want to create a new one or not. Let's click Yes. All games are made up of two major element types, rooms and game objects. Rooms can be thought of as stages or levels of the game. All rooms have identical characteristics, which are the canvas in which objects are placed. An exception to this principle are the menu rooms. As can be seen in the objects tree on the left, the studio automatically created two rooms for us. The first room has a blue M, indicating that it's the main menu room. This room will be used as the background for the main menu, which will be added to the game automatically by our servers and is used to give the menu a more personalized feel. For purposes of this tutorial, we'll ignore the main menu room and leave the background with a boring white color. The second major event type is the game object. The most commonly used object is a sprite. This definition makes nearly all game entities good candidates for sprites. A hero, a bullet, an enemy, a floor, and a bush are all good examples for a sprite. A sprite can wander around in a room at different speeds, interact with other sprites, and respond to the player's input. Let's add a new sprite and call it Animated Fish. This will be the main character in our game. Our new sprite was added to the list, but it still cannot be used because it has nothing defined visually. This is a good time to stress the fact that while defining logic for a sprite is optional, graphics must be defined in order for the sprite to be valid. Clicking the Error List tab at the bottom of the screen reveals a single error. The sprite contains no animation and no canvas items. It is useful to sometimes check the Game Objects view to see if your game contains invalid states. Let's edit our fish and give it an animation. This is the Object Editor window, where all aspects of the object may be configured. I would also like to note that we could have accessed this view by double-clicking the error in the error list. The Resources tab is used to manage the animations of sprites, but it can also be used to manage the sounds that sprites make. Let's give our fish a swim animation. A new animation has been added with no image drawn on top of it, indicating that the animation has no frames. Looking back at the error list at the bottom, we can see that the No Animation error has been replaced with an Animation Contains No Frames error. Let's fix it and add some frames. This brings up the animation editor. Before images can be used by an animation, they must be loaded to its images pool. Let's click Add Image and add the images Mo Fish Swim 1 through 4 and click Open. In the animation editor, click OK. Now that the images have been added to the images pool, we may drag them as frames and create a frame sequence. We'll preview our animation by clicking the play button at the top. The animation is moving rather slowly. I can adjust it by changing the time per frame value. Yes, that should do it. Let's get off topic for a few moments and take a glimpse at the Canvas tab. The canvas enables adding various basic shapes to the sprite, such as rectangles, round rectangles, ellipses, as well as text boxes. Two useful features of the canvas are the zoom, which enables high-precision work, and a canvas size button, which enables easy magnification of the sprite's size. We will not make use of either at the moment. Let's close the object editor and open Room 1 for editing. The room designer is open in the middle, and we may now start building our exciting stage. The studio supports two methods of adding sprites to the game, dynamic and static. Dynamically created instances are sprites that were created dynamically while the game was running. Statically placed sprites, on the other hand, are positioned in the room designer during the room construction phase. We'll drag the sprite into the room and place it somewhere. This created a sprite instance. Each game object may have many instances in the game. A sprite defines how an instance would look like and behave inside the game, while the sprite's instances are the actual entities acting in the game. Now that we have our sprite instance in the game, let's launch the simulator from the Quick Launch menu and try out our new game. As we previously discussed, the first display room is the menu room. Let's skip it using the arrow at the top. Very nice! We have our little fish swimming in the room. Let's close the simulator and save our newly created game. We're going to be using this project in future tutorials. This is the end of the basic game creation principles tutorial. I hope you enjoyed watching, and see you again next time.